Welcome everybody to Retireholics episode 16.
I don't know.
We're in Las Vegas, of all places, at the Excel 401k conference. How's it feel to be in Vegas?
It feels good. Didn't feel so good this morning at 7 a.m., but it feels good.
Other than losing a buttload of money last night.
We'll talk about that a little more in detail. We got in here last night, and we had a little cocktail function, and I thought Mark was going to be there in a Raiders t-shirt and shorts.
Which wouldn't be surprising to our audience.
Fitting.
Might have been a little awkward because his bag got lost in travel on the airlines.
Well, it's because I tried to bring Frijole, who's not with us today, and he never made it.
May he rest in peace.
I'm not sure where he's at.
Frijole, if you're watching, we love you. But you pulled it off. You managed to put a little attire together.
Well, our smelly cameraman gave me a really nice Bradley Cooper outfit, and I rocked it.
And you did
rock.
Yeah,
that was amazing.
I made that outfit look so good. He actually gave me those clothes.
I think he might come to you for number 4.
He just doesn't know it yet.
The original plan was to leave from the cocktail hour, which we did a little entertaining there for the event, and then head straight to my room to rehearse for the show that we have going on. We're doing one today and one tomorrow.
Did we get to rail?
Somehow we didn't make it to the room. I remember blackjack tables. I remember going to an ATM a couple times. We finally got to the room at midnight. Went through some rehearsal for the show.
Well, we went through the rehearsal for the show.
Chad started dozing off, which is not normal because he's usually our guiding light.
I'm usually the nerd, yes.
Dozing off, and apparently the boys tell me you were shopping after that on the internet.
I did make a late night sitting in my bed purchase. I bought my daughter a fat head.
Phone in the other.
Wait,
on
fat
the bed.
head? Of
you
what?
bought Shaylin a fat.
I bought Shaylin a fat.
Tell me
What
something, Eli.
professional athlete do you buy your?
Fathead actually makes characters as well, so I got her the Frozen collection to pin up on
dear
her
Lord.
wall.
Frozen fathead.
They've been gone for 2 weeks. I'm missing my family.
Is Elsa going to be in a football helmet and stuff, or what's going to happen?
Yes, exactly. Elsa be in a football helmet running down the sideline.
That's sweet. That's very sweet. Very sweet that you're drunk shopping for your daughter. She'll watch this someday, by the way, and see this.
I digress.
Let's do it again tonight and see what he can buy us tonight.
Let's jump right into it. Every show
magic bullet.
has a beer of the episode, right, Chad?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And this show, we had a beer delivered to us from Bloom, B-L-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-M, or however that goes.
I think there's 8 to 12 O's.
By the way, a little side fun fact while you open those. Many boxes have been arriving at the office with beer.
For some weird reason, they don't end up in our hands, though, because you drink them all.
I mentioned this in episode 15. Please keep the free beer coming. Thank you to Bloom on this.
This is made by Boulevard, which if you could see the label, you would certainly recognize the beer.
Can we make one specific point here that your favorite number's on the bottom?
It is, and we're in Vegas, number 7 on there. It's a farmhouse ale by Boulevard out of Kansas City. We knew JD would like it because it's described as being fruity.
It's also 8.7%.
It doesn't taste fruity to me at all.
8.5% alcohol.
It tastes all of 8.5%.
Glad we ate lunch, boys.
Every percent of it.
I'm getting a bready malt.
Yeah.
Hey, cheers, fellas. Thank you. B-L-O-O-O-O-O-O-O-M.
Thank you. We're going to kick off our first subject, and it's going to come under the segment title that you're all used to, the 411. Okay. So we're giving little updates on what's going on, and today we're going to talk about something that's hot, something that people are talking about all the time.
Good and bad.
Open MEP. And what I'd like to do is first kick off with, let's define what the heck it is, mostly because Mark never knows what these things mean. And it's
No, I know this one.
Oh, you do?
You do.
MEP.
MEP is my wife's initials.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
So we're talking about my wife.
We're talking about your wife today. She is a topic of conversation
how is she gonna feel about
in
that,
the
Mark?
industry.
We digress, as usual.
Is she an open or closed MEP?
Oh boy. Let's get back to
She doesn't watch the show.
We're going to leave that
We're
one
going to
alone.
cover what it is,
see this.
and then what I'd like to do is cover the strengths of it, almost like if you were an open MEP salesman, if you will. And then we'll come back around and check the other side of the coin by talking about, well, maybe what are some of the cons or a little bit of critique of it, if you will.
Can I
Okay.
say that out of all the beers we've had on the show, this is definitely my favorite.
It's definitely one of my
I
favorites.
personally would like to go to a lighter, more blonde category if we could once in a while, but that's just me.
People send really great beer, and it happens to be dark.
So, an MEP, what the heck is it? Well, it's basically taking a bunch of companies or a bunch of plan sponsors and taking them all together in one plan, right? Back in the day, before Open MEPs, it might have been like an association, like car dealerships or some niche of an industry that would kind of take the power of many, come together on one plan, 150-500.
Typically some relation.
Yeah, some relation.
Some relation that tied them all together, hence the term closed.
But now, we can go fully open MEP, fully endorsed by the government, by the laws. And
I think we'll get on the other side of that in a moment.
Okay. Well, I think it's pretty
Pessimist
well
here,
endorsed
of course.
and been even pushed a bit. But now, totally unrelated companies come together and join into one plan. Well, let's put on our salesman hats. What's so cool about that, and what's the advantage to the client? The number one advantage.
It's cost.
Right.
Well, it's cost, but as Little Dicky, a great rapper, would say, he gonna save that money.
Save that money. Save that money.
Check out the video if you haven't.
I think it's absolutely relevant, right? The thought is, with economies of scale, migrating all these businesses together, we can go out and get some purchasing power, and I might be a $500,000, 120-person plan. I'm now going to get in the pricing structure of a $50 million open MEP.
Right, but I mean, where at what level? I mean, have we really looked into that? Like, where
Depends how
is that
big
cost
that
It
savings
depends on the
gonna come?
map.
So whatever they've built out, it could
different
be.
providers out
Chad
there.
said 50 million. It could be 500 million. You know, but that's the concept. Is, hey, you're $1 million plan. You get $1 million pricing. How'd you like to be part of our group and get $500 million pricing? What an advantage. Now, we'll talk about the reality of that as we come back around through this, whether that's really true. But that is definitely
It's a big sales point.
the big sales point. The next sales point for this open MEP is what?
It's got to be
Fiduciary protection?
Yeah, I was going to say fiduciary protection. It's got to go that route.
What kind of protection?
Fiduciary.
Oh, you don't know what a fiduciary is. I forgot about that.
What's a fiduciary? Mark still hasn't learned what a fiduciary is.
There were
but,
some people educating him on it last night.
So it is definitely sold as a relieving you of your fiduciary responsibility, a hands-off type of thing. How is it done that way? It's usually got a 316. It's got a 338. There's only 150-500 filing, so you're not signing that sucker. And there's some payroll functions going to it. So it is very...
You eliminate some of the need, like there's a single plan ERISA bond, there's a single plan audit. So if you're above 100 folks, you're normally paying a significant dollar for your individual plan audit. There's one covering this entire MEP.
Back to the price, lowering the price again.
Yeah, it ties directly to the fiduciary side. You're not individually purchasing your ERISA bond. And there are some disclosure differences too when you're in the MEP. And you still get the customization of an individual plan, right? You can have a match, you can have an out-match, you can have auto-enroll, you can have profit sharing, you can have cross-tested or permitted disparity. You can really customize the plan still.
So why is everybody not doing this?
Well, there's some. Let's go there then. Let's go the other way. First of all, the other side of the coin, if you will. First of all, the pricing reduction. Okay. One thing is, it's not easy to put together because you got to bundle together hundreds of millions of dollars, and not everybody can do that. Remember, these MEPs are typically built by an advisor with a record keeper, potentially with a TPA. Like there's a partnership
and
involved.
a co-fiduciary, and you start adding all those
Not
things
everyone
up.
has the opportunity.
Stop saying that big word that
Fiduciary.
I don't know.
Not everyone has the opportunity to bring all those millions of dollars together. Secondly, I want to say the setups that I've seen, the pricing that I've seen, it didn't. I was expecting far further price
It's
reduction.
like super cheap, if you will.
I'll just throw out some numbers. If a normal $1 million plan had a 50 basis point wrap for record keeping, so to speak, which isn't far off, right? I mean, it depends.
It depends on what share class you're in. You know where my mind goes?
I meant for
can't go
record
that
keeping. I meant for
direction
record
right
keeping.
now.
I
So
would look
Rev
at a MEP
Mark.
solution, and they were gathering 200 million. It would drop it to 40 or 38. I thought I was going to see
Not as vast.
gnarly.
We
You thought it would
recently
be.
looked at pricing where they said they built it out. They said admin costs going to be around
2,000.
$2K, 70 bips for an advisor, another 20, I think
30.
it was, for the 316. Or no, it was only a
30
338. They didn't even have 316.
It was like 30 for the record keeping, or was it?
You guys didn't do good enough research, but
Like
the end
everything
result
in
was
all
like
was like
1.35 of
1.3%
participant expense and around
on
$2,000 a year.
top of
Wasn't
the
2,000.
cheap.
It wasn't cheap. And so who does it fit for? The clients that we typically are running around and helping advisors look at are those plans between 1 and 10 million. And it really fits for those groups that don't have the purchasing power and have over 100 employees in my mind.
Right.
Because you're trying to avoid the scrutiny of the audit and the cost of the audit.
Oh,
'Cause
speaking of
can
the
be
audit, that's
expensive.
huge.
While we're hanging out on the other side of this coin, I also want to address the lower fiduciary responsibility. My bad. With the 316, the 338, the payroll feed stuff, those are all things that you can get a la carte outside of an open MEP.
Well, I think something you said earlier, I just want to take it back to it, because I actually do know what a fiduciary is. Just don't ask me to answer it. But you said relieving yourself of that, right? And now we talk about lowering that responsibility. You can't relieve yourself of being a fiduciary.
Good ongoing
Right.
argument.
Good. Never fully.
And I think so. To answer your question, you said why isn't everybody doing this then? And this goes back to JD's validity of it. I think there's still a lot of open gray area in whether or not open MEPs are really going to be legal or not. I think we're seeing legislation starting to come forward. There's something in the House and the Senate right now, RSA 2015, where they're trying to push through a lot of this stuff to truly make it definitive that it's there. but there's still a whole lot of gray area. So I
think we have
read
something called PDC Easy Speak. I don't even understand what you're saying right now.
it's not fully clear of whether or not the DOL or any other groups are going to step in and say,
Yes.
look at welfare plans. Welfare plans don't have a commonality rule, or they do have a commonality rule right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if they apply that same thought to the K business, they could take all those plans and said, you're not related enough due to this commonality rule. We're going to pull you apart. Now you all don't have prior 5,500 filings. The plans could be disqualified. And on that same note, the part of the new legislation last year was to try to get rid of this bad apple rule, meaning if one plan is doing something wrong, the whole entire
Jeopardizing
method
That's one of the biggest downsides.
It's one of the biggest fears, but that's obviously never talked about in a sales process. But when I sit and I'm chatting with an advisor who's thinking of doing something like this, and there's some great options out there for providers doing it, I always say, you really want to put your 25-person mom and pop car dealership or mechanic shop inside this MEP, where if they make a mistake or any other group like that makes a mistake out there, their plan's disqualified.
Right.
One other negative from an advisor perspective, which is the bulk of our audience, is, if you're partnering with one record keeper to offer this MEP and you're trying to funnel hundreds of millions of dollars there, you're kind of painting yourself into a corner, you have one solution for all these clients.
I would like to say that you stole those exact words from Justin from last night.
Oh shit.
It's all right.
Go on.
Well, I don't normally say
I
anything.
figured Justin
someone
wasn't
has
going to
to
say
it.
anything on the
Justin's not
show.
gonna say anything over there, so
So
come
I might
on.
as
No,
well
but
use it.
we've talked about it a bunch of times. It's one of the biggest concerns there. It's like, hey, if you have, a certain, client list of clientele that you think you can get into that, and someone does, 4 or 5 whatever don't like this provider, then you're not going to put yourself in a good position.
It's the unbundled conversation that we all believe so heavily in is that you have specialists in each area. In the MEP, you don't necessarily have a specialist in each area, and what happens if you want to get out of it?
Right.
Yeah. So, as an advisor, as an industry professional, I think it's good to understand the pros of it, because you may come across it. Maybe you want to build one yourself. I don't know.
And
you should also understand the cons in case you're up against it.
I think if some of this pending legislation gets through and solidifies that this is truly illegal, I think we're going to see a lot of it. And I think it could be a good thing if done correctly.
For sure. All right, well, we're going to hit a little transition before our next subject, which I'm really excited about, but right now is my favorite time of every show.
I was wondering where you're
Some
going.
beautiful music's going to come across with a voice like an
JD.
angel.
Look at how colorful it is.
Can I see?
Who do you think it's going to land on?
I'm
That's
not
probably
sure.
my favorite one yet.
I'm not
Here we
sure.
go.
Why don't you
Here we
let
go.
Mark spin it, just so he has an
You
advantage?
better get a hard spin in there then.
Let's see, Mark. Who we got? And it's Mark.
And it's going to be Mark. Oh my goodness,
Mark is going to
do you
pound
ever
his
win at this game?
Smirnoff Ice. He'll
never
probably
works
drop
out
to
for you,
one
does
knee.
it?
make a huge deal out of this whole thing.
We're keeping
I
the
just
business
hope this
afloat.
hotel doesn't kick us out.
Does anyone invest in that yet?
Let me pull your mic out here so that you can get to your knee, pal. And we'll speed this up, of course.
Yeah, can we go quickly with this, Mark?
No.
Kudos, fellas, because there are a ton of folks here that have come up saying how much they enjoy the show.
It's a great
So,
conference.
well done, pat on the back.
conference.
Love it.
All right, we are jumping in to our next subject.
Got to be a
Mark,
record.
give me the hashtags, dog. Hashtag me.
There you go.
Not your typical advisor is where we're going. Hashtag not your typical advisor. While we're on that, I really want to say that that's the premise of this conference here.
That's right.
This Excel 401k is really hashtag not your typical retirement plan conference. And that's the goal
a
of
really long hashtag.
Ross,
Just like your Instagram post earlier.
Yes.
I've never seen 84 letters used for a hashtag.
I'm going to
Mark.
do that later.
Mark.
We are going to talk about someone who's here,
Right,
someone who's
there you go.
speaking here, and someone who's doing some great things in the world of marketing and branding for advisors. Her name is Sherry Fitz.
You guys.
Come on.
Sherry Fitz, and we met with her last night. Awesome chick.
She's wearing cowboy boots.
She does rock the cowboy boots quite often. Way to go.
And some exciting socks, too.
She recently wrote a blog post titled, "It's Not Business, It's Personal," and is directed at advisors, financial services, marketing, branding, that type of thing. The article or the post starts off with the concept that there's a lot of people out there that think it's not cool to mix personal with business. And she's kind of referencing LinkedIn posts and things of that nature. And she says, quite the contrary, we're getting this all wrong. And she goes on to explain why.
It's
Right?
like a lot of people say, don't mix 401k talk with beer.
Which is crazy.
They are so wrong.
Yeah.
Why do people
Which is
always
kind of
get things
ironic
wrong?
that we are talking about this right now.
Yes. So, kind of her mantra, one is that it's very okay for your personal to blend in with your business, right? I mean, was that?
Yeah, I
General
think that
concept?
was, and I when we talked about this initially, I think it's a good point to realize what it is that the folks we're talking to are actually trying to sell, right? It's service, it's ourselves. When you're purchasing a product where you're never going to see the salesperson again, then maybe the person is not a big part of that sales process. In the line of work that we're all in, you want to engage with someone you want to trust with them, and that's the person you want to purchase from. And that's why it's good to mix personal and business in the world that we all live in.
To an extent.
Yes, there are certain things you
there's a
can't
line,
do.
Well, yeah,
but
like
I think we
any
crossed that a
marketing,
long time ago.
You gotta be logical. You gotta
Right.
take your risks, figure out what you want to do, not do. I mean, yeah, there's always lines that shouldn't be crossed, and there's lines sometimes that should be crossed. And you need to figure out when to do it. But her point is just that people seem to think that everyone should just have, in financial services, should have the same cookie cutter approach to what they're
Compass.
doing, to their websites, their marketing, their appearance for that matter. I mean, everything. And she's saying, no.
Break loose.
Your brand should reflect your personality. It should reflect the direction of your company.
Should be an
and
extension
who you
of
are
you.
and what inspires you.
So if we're all doing this, like some think we should be, then how are they differentiating themselves? And that's pretty much what she's coming out and saying, right? Is that we have to find a way as consultants, as service people, as advisors to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah,
and
and-
connecting it to your personal life is one good way to do it.
I also want to be clear.
Well, I'd say it's just a good way to do it, but it's just one way that people aren't doing because they're afraid to do it.
It is scary, by the way.
There's like an aura about that of
Well-
I shouldn't talk about my family. Although there are some people who talk about their family and kids.
Let's bring up the house. A fun example, not to self-promote, but it's okay to mix business with personal. Example, each of you guys has a business card
Yeah.
that
Yep.
we created for you that you take to all your meetings, and on your business card it says Mark Palmini, sales consultant or whatever, and dad is
Maya's dad.
Maya's dad. So there's an example, not to self-promote.
This one has not been changed yet, although I have my new ones now. Mine says Shaylin's dad.
And Dylan's dad now.
And now it says Dylan, but I had so many cards that my son is over a year old and I've been using these ones still. And I'm not kidding. Business owners will sit there and write Dylan's dad right next to Shaylin's dad on
Good
it.
for them.
And
That's
it
cool.
creates a really great icebreaker and conversation. And now we're starting to get to know each other on a personal level.
Now, Justin's sperm counts are very low, so he doesn't have children.
Wow, we're going there.
But his business card
How do
says
you know that?
snowboarder and Packers fan.
Which
right?
is
You know?
unfortunate, but
Which
Again.
is good and bad. I get a lot of haters, and I get a lot of guys that
a great
love it.
icebreaker.
It is. Not to mention
personal
our
as a
cards
point.
alone, the thickness of them. People are like,
the
dude.
world needs to know that the Packers coach's doppelganger is sitting right here. If he
Brandon,
put that
I need
hat
a-
on,
I
it's
need
a-
a-
It's ridiculous.
Bring one in
I'm
right
just saying,
here.
that's a great example of
It
where
is.
you can mix it. There's several
Yeah. And
other
can we
examples
stop
out
taking
there.
pictures out in front of our office next to a bush and a tree?
Mark would like to let you all know that
look
if
at my
your firm
white
is going to go
t-shirt.
outside to take a picture in your suits and ties,
Yeah.
not to do it in
Stop.
front of some trees in front of the
Stop.
office.
Go somewhere else. Go somewhere that people
And I
care
would
about.
suggest that maybe you change the background on your LinkedIn picture from that classic high school senior picture background that you have.
Yeah.
Well, I think
And it
we,
doesn't always have to be through pictures, right? We've talked like 401k.com. You can implement a bit of yourself in
How you
your
write,
writing,
in your
how you
style.
present. Exactly.
Yeah, colors.
I
I
mean,
mean,
you're-
you rebranded orange years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, colors that bring out vibrant feelings, the type of business you want to run. Yeah.
Go Giants. You said orange, sorry.
I also want to clarify that when she writes this really good post, she also backs it up with some stats and stuff. And she gives you some information from a study that was brought together by Google and this Market Leadership Council. And basically what it's saying is, even in a B2B environment, business to business, which is where people are scared to
Wait,
be
what?
personal,
No. You said business to business.
business to business, B2B. Got it. Even in that environment, research shows that they want to know you, to learn who you are and what you're about, and they would say even more so, bigger, more serious buying decisions are made in B2B, and they want to buy from companies and people that they know, like, and trust. And that means personal branding.
You talked about authenticity in the past, I think a couple episodes back. I think that's what people want to feel when they're purchasing service. Again, if you're getting a product, they don't care. If you're getting a service, they want authenticity. They want to know you're accountable and they trust you.
in a product.
Come on, if you're going to the store and you're buying a pack of gum from someone, you don't care. If you're going and buying a
I care a
golf
little bit because I
club,
don't like fruity gum. I like minty gum.
I'm not talking about the product. I'm talking about the person. You just
There's
proved
no
my
person
point there.
behind that.
It's when selling service, you really need to be able to connect yourself with the person that you're going to be servicing.
So then you might all say, well, that's very inspiring. That's great. Yes, I get it. Makes sense. I agree. You might have some roadblocks in front of you. Maybe you work for a wirehouse. Maybe you have a very stringent compliance department. I would still say in today's world, many registered reps, obviously RIAs, people are successfully branding themselves, and it's going to open up in all spaces. So basically, I'm going to say stop boo-hooing about that. Find a way, work on something to do that. She then goes on to say, all right, now that you're inspired, what should you do? What should you do? And I want to share this advice with our viewers.
It's relevant.
She talks about, first thing is, take a step back and look at your business like your clients would.
I really like that. Walk into your office
Walk
like
into
you're
your
the
office.
client. Yeah, that's really
The
cool.
way
How
she
does it
positioned
look?
that was great.
How does it represent what you're
How
trying
do you
to do?
feel when you walk in if you're a client?
Yeah. Take a look at your website. Honestly, is it representing what you're all about?
How's
what
our
you're trying to
website,
do?
by the way? Our PDC website.
It sucks. So you brought that up. I told Sherry Fitzis the other day that I sat on her webinar and she said, first thing, go look at your website, because if your website sucks, there's no point in moving further. And I think our website sucks right now. So it
Hey, our
needs to be-
Retireholics website is awesome.
Yeah,
needs
that
to be
one's good.
revamped.
Go there. Don't
That's
go
our
the other
hipster
one.
website.
So I'll follow Sherry's advice. She says to the advisors, which I loved, she says with the website, skip the compass and map, give up on the bank columns, and avoid the Cialis commercial models at all costs. I freaking love that. Because I've seen a lot of advisor sites, and that's what they look
The
like.
gray-haired folks walking on the beach, holding hands, living comfortably in
How many times
retirement
have you
in the
seen
Hamptons.
the northwest-south compass? I see that
I don't know for the
constantly.
Compass level. The Seattle's commercials. Is that when they're in the 2 bathtubs?
That is one of them. Yeah, out in nature and they're sitting in 2
Oh,
bathtubs.
yeah,
I don't
like
think
that.
that's really a bad thing. I like to take baths in nature.
So
You have?
I think what she's saying is,
Lucky man.
take
With
a look.
MEP.
We get these side conversations, and it's like, I think what she's saying is, take a breath,
many
step
conversations
back,
are coming to
take a look
Mark.
at it, take it one at a time,
So many conversations
and build
are coming to
a
mind
business and a brand that
You can say
matches
what's
what
on
you're
your
trying
mind,
to do.
Justin.
That's authentic,
Find a way.
It's bad,
genuine.
right?
Neil's
Find
house?
a damn way.
I'm sure
to do it.
there's folks looking around going, yeah, guys, I can't do that. Compliance will not allow me to brand
things
that
I
way.
said
I have a
about what I
structure.
do.
Find a way. There's a way to do it. Even if it's as simple as
Can
what
we-
you wear
Yeah.
into meetings, you're able
Can
to.
we just say that we're trying
push
to
it
be like Tony Robbins right now, an inspirational, motivational speaker to say, we get that there could be issues. We get that maybe you've been told no in the past. We
Wait.
get what?
You just called him Tony
T-Rob,
Robbins.
sorry,
There you
T-Rob.
go. Come
My
on, you
boy.
guys are better than that.
We get that. Just get back in there. It's not going to be easy. It's going to take time, but just do your best and try. Try to be different.
By the way, it
There.
makes work fun too for your own self.
But absolutely, that was one of the scariest things about when I first came on board with you guys. So I came from that button-up corporate world, and then
That big
I didn't know
corporate
how it was going to work. And then the more and more I got into it, and I tell you guys this all the time, the more I realized how much it resonated. And I know it was a long process for you to go from that rebranding cycle. So I guess the point of that
Now,
is stick with it.
I want to be clear.
He just said more than like 6 words
I know.
right there.
I want to be
Well
clear,
done.
Dude.
That doesn't have to mean that you do a show with beers.
No, not at
or
all.
that your CEO looks like a homeless person, or that you use awesome in your lingo. Because I got news for you. If what's being authentic to you is being a super professional, clean cut, dot your I's,
That's what I
cross your
get made fun
T's,
of for all the time.
mature.
I'm shocked you have a hat on
If
right
that's-
now.
Hey, if that's if that's you authentically, then rock that shit.
Right.
Mhm.
Like do that.
Yeah.
Make your
Do-
website
do
that.
Be real.
Show up
Do
in your
you.
3-piece suit with a crisp, dry clean shirt, and
Walk in with a
be that.
boombox with Little Dicky playing. I'm going to save that money.
Get a haircut every Friday. I
that.
mean, whatever you.
I tried it.
To
failed.
each his
It's
own,
good.
but just make it real. Make it what you're supposed to be. All right. That's our 2 cents. Well, that's us regurgitating to Sherry Fitz's awesome stuff.
Hey, tonight, are you going to bet $165 on a hand of blackjack when I tell you to again?
Yes, I will. All
We
right.
don't talk about that.
We're gonna wrap this. If you haven't been to the Excel 401k conference last year, if you're not here this year, there's a lot of cool people here. All the cool advisors.
Great
come
content.
here.
Yep.
Get your stuff together and get here next year, because it's definitely a cool event.
And I think we owe them, and you said it earlier,
Yeah. Huge thanks.
A thank you for just letting us do
Yeah,
this
thanks
here.
to them
yeah.
for letting us come here and ruin their event. So that's good.
No one's even gotten close to coming over here and like trying to be a part of this.
Are they scared of us?
I really want to pull somebody on set right now.
All right, we are the Retireholics. We are changing the retirement plan industry one beer at a time, but I got one other thing to say. What do they say in Vegas? What
happens in
Don't
Vegas?
leave your wallet
Oh god,
on a slot machine and then walk away.
that's what they say.
That's very, very good advice. They
So
say
back on point.
what
Sounds like-
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas unless you're a fiduciary.
A what?
Fiduciary.
What the fuck is that?
Wrap.
Cheers, fellas. Good job.
Cheers.